I know we love the Darius Slay, and I'm not saying he won't be good this year,
Mm-hmm.
but are we counting on him being good for the next 3 years? I would guess not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he will be. We don't know. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
he's that one guy that can play until he's 37 years old. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? I
Mm-hmm.
hope he is. I know he's only going to be here for 1 year. At least he's under contract for 1 year. But the Steelers didn't address the position, Big G. I'm like, why won't we just address the position? What is the purpose? Like, what are we doing? Why can't are we afraid to go pay a cornerback or something? What's going on?
You know the sick part about it, 2B, is Asante Samuel is still sitting out there, bro, and we still got bread.
Yes.
We still got bread, bro. We got enough. And see, I ain't. Oh, you almost made. I almost went postal about Aaron Rodgers. I got to stop it. But we sitting with that bread,
No
man.
crashing out. No
And
crashing
yeah,
out.
I can't. I can't do it today. But we sitting with that bread. We got like 40 million.
Yeah.
Go get Asante Samuel, man. Go get him.
Yeah.
Go get him and put him opposite of JPJ. Put Slay in. You can rotate him in and out. Run that Eccles cat at that slot corner, and let's go. Let's do what we do.
Correct.
You know, but
Correct.
they tripping, man. They tripping, man. Go get that boy. Go get Asante.
Yeah, that's the difference. Is that here's the thing about Asante is I know he's not a tackler, but okay, there's a lot of corners out there that aren't tacklers. His thing is kind of has an injury bug.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something going on because it's not just the Steelers that haven't went to get him. Nobody has.
Facts.
So there's got to be something. And what I think it is teams are like, look, we're not going to give you a big money deal. We want a prove it deal to prove that you can stay injury free for a year.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll talk about signing you long term. But right now, no, we're not going to do that because you've been hurt. You've been hurt too much. And
Yeah.
can we trust you?
Yeah.
But when he's on the field, he's pretty damn good, Big G.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's a prove it deal, why not come to Pittsburgh and make it a prove it deal? Why don't we go out there and, hey, go prove it with us? We'll be more than happy to let you prove how good you are and that you can stay healthy in a Pittsburgh Steeler uniform.
Well, hell, you could probably prove it in practice. You got to line up every week, every day against GP and DK. Listen, it's going to be craziness going on with practice. With Asante Samuel, Joy Porter Jr., GP, and DK, oh my, you can prove it then. You'd be like, look, man, this boy locking cats down. He locking cats down. Then we more extend him. Give him a little bit more, because I think would be beneficial for him to come to Pittsburgh because he could prove it and win now. Versus other teams like, we're not going to give you an opportunity.
Or the Saints is who he's visiting. I'm like,
no,
I don't know about that.
Trash.
Yes.
Both of them trash. They ain't winning no games. No. Stop it. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, Big G. I 100% agree with you. I don't know where they're going. But I also think that as far as what my man said at Art's Baby Doll was talking about the whole 1 year why we go after the older vets. It's true. Yeah. We do go out and the 1 year, paying guy. I just don't get that whole mentality on why we're doing that, why we won't just address the issue. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Dodd here with the super chat, but they signed Thornhill. He's been hurt too. Makes no sense. Go get Samuel on a 1 year contract. I get it. Thornhill's been hurt. He played good with the Chiefs. Wasn't great with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was a little bit, hey, I played good. I got paid. I went to the Browns. It is what it is. Bottom line is, I just don't get it, Big G. I don't understand the philosophy of not addressing the cornerback position. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, no defense is ever any good with average corners. It's just not true. It just doesn't happen.
Maybe they know something we don't be. Maybe they think that Corey Trice is the answer. Maybe. That's the only reason why I could think why you would get Slay is to bring him in to help Trice. That's the only reason why I could think that makes sense to me. But maybe they know more. Of course they know more than I know. But from an outside looking in, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Corey Trice is going to be better. Joey Porter Jr.'s got to take a step forward.
Facts.
I didn't think he had a good year last year, to be honest. I think there was too much talk about him being a shutdown corner after he had a good rookie year, but I think there was way too much talk, and maybe he read a little bit too many press clippings about how he was some shutdown corner, and he's not yet. That's not what he is at this point in time. He can get there. He's got the tools to get there, but he is not there yet. He is not there yet, and teams took advantage of that. The Bengals were one of them. Lord have mercy. What do you have? 7 penalties in a game? So
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. But let's get back to some of this free agency stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. We signed Jalen Warren. I thought a big signing was Ryan McCollum, getting him back because he can fill in at center and at guard. I thought that was
Facts.
key.
Mm-hmm.
1 year contract. Both of those the 1 year contracts, and we released Larry O.
Yeah.
Here's the guy that I mean, we signed back Isaiah Loudermilk.
Oh my
I
God.
don't understand that. However, we still have Dean Lowry on the
Mm-hmm.
roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is Dean Lowry still on the roster? He was hurt last year. Then he didn't really contribute a whole lot. We could save $2.5 million by letting him go, especially when you're going to draft the D tackle early and maybe twice in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point, Big G? What are we doing here?
He's a Tomlin guy. There's certain guys that's on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster that it's going to be like almost Armageddon to get rid of them. You know, Killebrew is one of those guys. That was the Skoranek, the wide receiver. And I'm not saying Skoranek is horrible, but there's just certain guys that are Tomlin guys. And that's the deal with this dude. He's a Tomlin guy. Tomlin has preference of certain guys he likes because he feels they're good locker room fits. They have good camaraderie. He likes how they interact with the other players. And when you get some of those veterans like Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minka to say, oh no, we can't get rid of dude. Dude is he runs with us, man. So that's why he's there. He's a Tomlin guy.
Right.
It's obvious he's a Tomlin guy. And we've seen this before out of Mike Tomlin. This ain't nothing
We
new.
have. You're exactly right, Big G. We have. It's a good one by Luke Cage says, who's a member of Steelers Almighty. When are we going to get rid of Patterson? That's another thing. I mean, I'm going to assume that the Steelers are going to draft the running back. Well, we got Warren. We signed Gainwell. We didn't sign Gainwell just to cut him in the offseason or,
Facts.
in the summer. We didn't do that. So we're not going to have 4 running backs on the roster. I can assure you of that. So I don't know what the point of all that is. Don't know. Again, that's $2.8 million. But there was a good point before I get to Mr. Dodd Super Chat, Big G. I'll let you take it. Is that even if we cut Lowry and Patterson, we get rid of them both, we save $5.3 million.
Yeah.
But we're not using the money that we got now. So what's the point?
Well, that's why I said we got to move. And we'll segue to this. That's why I like my boy Cam, man. We're going to talk about what Cam said here in a minute. Get up off this Rodgers mess, man. You know what? Rodgers, I got a new sign for you. Hell no, you ain't coming to Pittsburgh.
We'll get there.
Hell no, but we're going to talk about
it. We will
Hell
get
no.
there, I promise. Leonard Dodd says, even if they cut him, Lowry, that isn't doing nothing with the $2 million. But exactly, just what I just said. Exactly. We're not doing anything with it. So we'll find out. We got to. Here's the thing, though, is that at some point, I would assume the Steelers are going to do something. You know, we can't just do nothing. It can't just be all draft picks, and then we hit on the draft picks. You know, or maybe that's what they're counting on. Maybe they're just saying, you know what, we don't like this free agent class. Maybe we'll like the free agency class next year better. We're saving some coins. We're going to draft well, which in all intents and purposes, the Steelers have drafted okay.
Yeah, that's facts.
So maybe they're waiting on something and they're saying we're going to draft and we're going to spend our money next year. Maybe that's the key to all of this. I don't know. The chat doesn't believe. The chat is, they are so, the sky is falling. We're doing anything right. Nobody believes in anything. I'm like, man, chat, come on, man. We got to have some positivity tonight.
Well, you just got to wait. I mean, the deal is the dilemma at quarterback, right? That's the deal. I think that's why they're holding on to it. So we have to move past this dilemma. So then now, because there's still serviceable guys out there that we can sign to our roster that will help build it. But it just depends on what type of depth you want to have at certain positions. Do we go get another running back? No, because we're going to draft one. Do we go get another wide receiver? No, because we're probably going to draft one. If not, we got a nice little room with a 4-man rotation. Do we go get another tight end? Well, we signed one.
Right.
Now can we spend money on the offensive line and the defensive line? Absolutely. So that's where you're going to make your money in this free agency transition period. Is if there's still guys out there that's serviceable, maybe we can sign the 1 and 2 year deals. That is going to help us build the depth that we need at those key positions. Because the only other guy that I thought about was like maybe Baker, the linebacker from Miami that's still sitting out there. Could he help us in our room as far as rotating linebackers? Yeah, but you got to be selective with who you're signing, especially with the defense and the offensive line, bro. For me.
You do. You absolutely do. Super chat by Mr. Dodd here said, why just give guys 1 year contracts? They come off the books either way at the end of the season. I think that's the point. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason that they're just giving them 1 year deals is because they come off the books. They don't want
Mm-hmm.
to tie up, any other years with them. So it's just extra cap space that they have. I don't know. And like I said, at some point, we got to go spend some money. Look, I get the DK deal. I
Mm-hmm.
like the DK deal. I was
Mm-hmm.
excited about the DK deal, but there needed to be more. There needed to be something else. It's just we've got to figure out something. We got to do something else. It can't just be okay. We got DK. Now what? Okay. If we didn't want Fields, okay, fine. We didn't want Russell Wilson. Okay, fine. Let's go through who we did want. We signed Isaiah Loudermilk back. We got him back. We re-signed Ben Skoranek. We got Ben Skoranek back. Looks like, I thought Big G had dipped out on us there. Something going on with the Wi-Fi. I'm still here, though. Scotty Miller signed to a 1 year contract. He's back. Mason Rudolph, we got him back. Outside of DK, I think the Scotty Miller move was the best move that we made. Or not the Scotty Miller, but the Mason Rudolph, excuse me. Mason Rudolph was the best thing that the Steelers had done, Big G, was getting Mason Rudolph back. Darius Slay, I like it,
Yeah.
but it's just a 1 year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Malik Harrison. And again, I like the Darius Slay. 1 year
Mm-hmm.
deal for a 34-year-old makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
again, we didn't attack the position when there were guys out there that, unless they're just thinking, you know what, we're gonna draft somebody, and that's who we're gonna work with. I don't know. I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
Gainwell's 1 year. What is
Yep.
Gainwell gonna be? A second or third back on the team? Brandon
Yep.
Eccles. Now, that's a guy I actually like that signing.
Mm-hmm.
I like that signing because he plays in the slot. He was a cover guy. I actually like that signing. But other than that, I don't know, Big G.
Yeah, we just like I said, we right now as a position of need, which I don't think that they're going to draft outside of defensive tackle. You have to get depth at the edge rush. You might still have to go get because we got the DT out of the New England Patriots. You got to take a hard look, maybe at linebacker. We got the Treadwell dude for to rotate with the safeties. So where are they looking, and where do we need help? I think we need the majority of our help across the offensive line with depth. You need to bring some players in that I'm still looking for a guy that's going to challenge Jones at tackle. Like, is there a guy out there in free agency that can come in and challenge him in camp to make him play better? Because to me, that's smart. If you're going to spend the money anywhere, bring a guy in that if Jones doesn't work out, you can
Yeah.
slot him in that position and start him at tackle. We can't wait for on the draft to do that. So there's players out there that I think we still could sign, B, but I'm looking more at the trenches, man. Let me get them trenches together. Let me get that O line and D line together, bro.
Yeah, and somebody brought it up. Anthony Hardy's talking about on draft day there could be a surprise trades. He's right there. Is that there
Mm-hmm.
could be a lot of surprises that happen on draft day. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
we're necessarily done yet. Now we might be, and we could all be upset about it, but I don't think that we're necessarily done right now. It just doesn't seem it doesn't seem like we would be. I
Mm-hmm.
just in the back of my mind, Big G, that's starting to come to the front of my mind. I feel like the Steelers are going to trade George Pickens on draft day or right before the draft and
Oh,
get a second and maybe a fifth round pick. I just feel that the Steelers
oh,
are going to do that. There's some people that think we should because they can't stand him. He gets on my last nerve
Yeah.
But maybe he won't if there's another big dog in the room with him. Maybe he'll change. He hasn't shown that he would, but maybe that will be the key.
I just can't see trading him, dog. I just can't, man. It doesn't make sense. You listen, whatever quarterback you bring in here, you got to give him weapons. We're a top 5 or 6 wide receiver core in the league. Don't trade him. Now get him together and tell him, look, bro, you better handle your business this year, because if not, you might get a franchise tag or be on your way up out of here. So, that's my take with it now, because you got DK. That's a matchup freaking nightmare. DK Metcalf and George Pickens, that's a matchup nightmare. Who are you going to double?
Yeah.
I'm saying keep him, but B, that might be happening. That might be, the secret sauce the Steelers is looking at, man.
It just might be. Mr. Die with the super chat. So producer won't like this question, but what grade we giving free agency for the Steelers at this current moment? Well, here's the thing.
Mhm.
Like, I don't count DK Metcalf as being free agency because that didn't count. That wasn't free agency. That was a
Facts.
trade that we made.
That's
So,
facts.
so I don't count that as free agency. So if you don't count him, which you shouldn't, I would give it an F. I mean, Steelers haven't done anything. They brought
Damn.
in Mason Rudolph. Okay, and I actually like bringing in Mason Rudolph. I
Me
like
too.
him to be a backup, and if we draft the guy, which we need to draft the guy, being a leader in the quarterback room, I
Mhm.
like it. But what else? Like, there's nothing. So
Mason can win some games, bro, but I don't know if I give him an F. B. Maybe see you being too hard on him, man. It's
what did they
maybe,
do?
but B, man, maybe a D.
Is the roster better now than it was at the end of the season?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Wow, we don't have a quarterback, so it can't be that much better.
Well,
Mason Rudolph is your starter.
everything but that.
Everything?
Everything but that. The roster's better. Wide receiver room's better. Tight end room's better. No, the offensive line room ain't better. Tight end offensive line room ain't better. If I had to go position by position, safety's better, corner's better, linebacker's better. Defensive line is not. Even if you include edge rushers, offensive line is not. Tight end is better. Wide receivers better. I'm I'm questionable about running back because we only got Warren and Atwell.
We're not better.
B
Gainwell ain't
Najee.
better than Najee. We can be
I
mad at
know.
Najee and say he ain't great. Najee's better than him.
Okay,
We're
that's
not better.
facts. And not quarterback. So out of the
Right.
position rooms, we're probably 60-40 better out of position rooms. But the critical ones, maybe not quarterback, maybe not running back, maybe not offensive line. So yeah, I understand your logic. It makes sense.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. We're not better. Now we can get there. I'm not
Hmm.
saying anything's over with yet, but
Hmm.
as of now, I wouldn't say the Steelers roster is better than than it was at the end of last season. So
Yeah.
that's where we got to get to. We
Hmm.
got to get a better roster, and I don't know how we're going to do that. I
Okay.
don't know how to do that. So um, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, Either way, Mr. Dunn's asking my mod tonight. Oh, I don't know. The Cash App's not working. I apologize. I'll get him on it.
Yeah.
We'll get him on it. I apologize. What happened to Holcomb? Holcomb, it got signed.
He
Holcomb
did.
is back, but we'll see. I mean, the Steelers didn't bring back Erob, so I'm assuming that they're considering Cole Holcomb a guy that's going to challenge for playing time.
Yeah.
If he does, I love it.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well,
absolutely love it. But we just we'll see. We'll see about that. I would suspect the Steelers bring somebody in closer to training camp that's going to challenge for time there and challenge for a roster spot. I know Mark Robinson's still around and he's great on special teams. That's not somebody you want playing middle linebacker for you, though.
that's
Um,
facts.
yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see. The Thornhill signing I actually do like because I think he's an upgrade over KZ.
Oh
I
yeah.
actually do like that. KZ was okay.
Hmm.
And Thornhill, like I said, he wasn't great with the Browns. He wasn't.
Hmm.
But he's better than KZ, or at least he's shown that he can be. So
Yeah.
hopefully he regains that form